As someone who has been working in the PR and marketing industry for over 6 years, I feel like there's a lot of gate kept or things that a lot of people don't really talk about. And I feel like the reason why no one talks about them is because we're all too busy. A lot of us are so swamped with work, we don't really have time to teach. And I think that's such a big opportunity, especially because of the popularity of working with influencers. There's so much opportunity that goes on behind the scenes that no one talks about. And to be frank, those are the people that are fueling this campaign. They are the ones that are making it happen. And because of this, there's such an appetite for people to learn and for people to honestly share what they've learned so far. I'm essentially creating these videos because I want to be that big sister that I never had, someone who I would go to for career advice, for life advice. There's just so much opportunity for us to just have a conversation, discuss, share our learnings, and share, how we can essentially support one another in this ever evolving industry. So just to give a little bit of background in terms of who I am a freelance strategist and a content creator here in Toronto. I went to PR school for a little bit, landed an intern at a boutique agency, then worked my way up into a global agency. So definitely had some career shifts, which is totally fine. I think that's the best way to really understand what you like and what you don't like. It's just saying yes and honestly juggling different types of hats. Long story short, I pivoted from PR specifically to influencer marketing. So that's kind of the path I chose to specialize in. And then that ended up leading me to work abroad across the pond in the UK, specifically London. I worked in London for about 2 years. I got to work with some of the most talented and creative people. I am so honored to say that I manifested my dream job working in fashion. I had the opportunity to work at ASOS. I loved it. Some of my friends that I've made there, I am still friends with today, and that was like about 4 or 5 years ago. From my journey in the UK, I moved over to a smaller agency where we had New Balance as one of our biggest clients. With that being said, my expertise in terms of influencer marketing is quite global. From what I took away working in the UK, there's such a big need for a community, and community is ultimately what is fueling a lot of these influencers to have the success that they have today. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 things that I wish I knew working in PR and marketing. Number one is always ask questions. For context, when you're working in an agency, you're going to be balancing several different clients. You might be working on a beauty client, you might be working on a food client. Regardless of what you're working on, you have a lot on your plate. So being able to ask questions before you start anything, I think is super crucial. You want to set yourself up for success as much as you can. And that means understanding, when is the deadline? How long is this going to take me? And is there an example that I can reference? This is so crucial, especially if you've never done this task before. Ultimately, don't want to run into a scenario where you're essentially doing this task from beginning to end, giving it to your manager, and then they hate it. And I know some people say that questions or asking for help can also signal that you don't know anything. Honestly, yes, you don't know anything because you're new. You're entry level, you're still understanding the industry, you're literally new. So I think you have to come out of your ego, put your pride aside, and just know that when you're asking for help, you just want to understand and that you're eager to learn more. Asking questions or asking for help doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't show that you are incompetent. I think those types of narratives that are fed to us, I'm also guilty of feeding that narrative to myself, is untrue. Because when you ask questions, it shows initiative, it shows that you care, and it shows that you want to learn. So if you have a question, I highly recommend asking it. Number two, make sure you know what's happening within the space. Using the beauty example because it's just like an easy one to reference, you want to be the person who is telling your team the latest beauty collabs, the latest beauty launches, like anything that is valuable to your client will come through you. And that is going to happen by setting Google alerts. Google alerts are so key because you can essentially set alerts for different keywords. For me, I use keywords like influencer marketing, creator economy, influencer campaigns, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Meta, like any of those keywords that really captures information that you need to be kind of on the pulse of. That is how you're going to use a Google alert. After you set those keywords, Google will then scrape the internet for those keywords and send you an email every single day. It's a very nice little list format of what people are talking about, what the internet is talking about, that includes all of those search terms. This probably takes maybe like 15 minutes every day to then scroll through. I used to do this on my commute, I don't know, a couple minutes after a meeting to just see what everyone is talking about. And number 3 is build your network early. If there's someone that you see online or on LinkedIn that you think is really cool, or that you have similar interests, similar experiences, or you just want to get to know a lot better, I highly recommend asking them to go on a coffee chat. It might feel awkward at first asking a complete stranger, but everyone is more open to it than you think. Personally, for me, when I pivoted to freelance just a year ago, all of my opportunities were through my network. It was through an old coworker, friends I went to school with, or a friend of a friend. So start before you think you need to. You don't need to build a network when you need it. You build it long before the moment comes. And those are the 3 tips that I would recommend to anyone who is getting their foot in the door through a corporate job, or that they want to work specifically in PR and marketing. These tips are so crucial, and I wish someone had told me before I even started. If any of this resonated with you, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.